Okay, so let's first focus on within while loop. We talked about there are two possibilities in the while loop. One, what we call is pre-test, which we have seen. Another is called post-test. Okay, in the pre-test, you create a condition like we did it here, right? We say I less than, sorry, why do I always do like this? We say I less than equal to n while, and then you do something. What happens is, what if I is in the beginning itself, I is more than n, suppose, right? Then this condition is false. If the condition is false, this whole thing will never execute, not even once. But however, if we want to execute it once, then check the condition. Okay, that is what we call is post test. That means do it once and then check a condition. And now if you want to, but the problem is in the while loop right now, if you give a condition may become false in the beginning itself, and that means it will never run. So what do? That is where what we call it refer as post test. In the post test, you assume that this condition is always true. Just make this condition true, and then let it run here one time, and then go and check a condition. And if the condition is true or false, then you decide what to do. Before I jump into a little bit of detail in the post-test scenario, I'm actually thinking, where would you do post-test? I'm not able to come up with a good example, honestly. I can give you like ABC type example, but in real life, I'm thinking it's more like how I call it from my experience. There are two type of people in this world. One who trust everyone unless somebody breaks the trust, and there are another type of people who do not trust anyone unless somebody establishes the trust. So I refer post-test is more like, okay, I give you a chance, and then I'll do a check. In this side, I'm not even giving a chance. I will first test you, and then I'll let you do something. Okay, may not be the great example, but it will help you remember it. So let me write some code here, and that way we can. Okay, so in this case, usually what we do is we'll take the same example, adding number 1 to 20. We were just doing it. Let's say I equal to 0, I equal to 1. We're going to start with 1, sum equal to 0, and then we'll say n equal to int input number. Okay. Our typical pre-test is while I is less than equal to n, right? Sum equal to sum plus 1, sorry, I, and then we'll say I equal to I plus 1. Suppose you want to check if I modulus 2 equal to 0, that means the remainder is 0, then only I will add the sum. Otherwise, I will ignore. Rest all remains same. Okay, this is our typical finding the sum of all the even numbers between 1 to some number n. Okay, and this will work fine. But again,
this is like a post test.
No, this is pre, right? That's what I have done. Now I will convert this in the post so that you understand more easily, rather than giving you something in new example. In this case, I is 1, right? So let's see if I enter, I mean, of course, I have given condition I is less than equal to, but in some cases, right now I know I is 1 and n will always be. But let's run this example, run without debugging. And I'm going to do is I will say -5. And what happened? Sorry, I have to print finally. Print and say the sum of numbers is whatever is the sum. Okay. run without debugging again, and enter -5. What happened? Sum is 0. This is not correct, isn't it? I'm starting with a number 1, and then but I'm going backwards. The system should have still given me the right sum, but right now it is showing 0. Why? Because the I is what? 1, and I less than equal to -5. Is this true or false? It's false. 1 is not less than equal to -5. I said n equal to -5. So line number 4, 5, and 5, 6, and 7 never executed. Right? In this case, if you draw a quick trace table, you will understand that line number 5, 6, of course, 6, if 5 is false anyway, but then code did not even enter this block. It did not enter. Why? Because this condition 1 less than equal to -5 is false. If the condition is false, this whole block of while will skip, and it will go directly to line number 8 and print the value. Right? So what I want to show you is, how about if we want to give a chance to, okay, do 5, 6, and 7 at least once, and then you want to check the condition and exit out, right? So the way we will do is, we'll assume this logic as true. If I say this is true, what will happen now? If I say while true, what does while true means? While true means the condition is always true. Remember, I can say, if you remember my previous class, I'll give an example here. I can say A equal to true. Then I can say if A equal to true, then print something. But Python gives you shortcut. You don't have to say like this. You can simply say A equal to true. Sorry. You can simply say if A. The Python by default is shortcut. It is a shortcut. You can simply say if A. That means A equal to true. And I had talked about it. You can also, rather than, I know if A equal to true, what is the point of checking A equal to if A or this? I can simply do like this. Then I don't even need a variable. I can simply say. Or you can also say, I mean, I'm just giving an example. You can also say 5 equal to 5, right? If 5 equal to 5, I want to say something. The point is 5 is always 5. This condition is always true. So in Python, you can simply say if true. That means rather than writing a Boolean expression, A equal to true, and declaring a variable like this, you don't need it. You're giving the final result itself to Python, saying, you know what, assume this is true. You don't have to evaluate expression A equal to true, is A true, then do something. You don't have to do that. Just simply say equal to true, because this way I save my time, and I don't have to say A equal to true here. I don't have to say A equal to like this. I don't have to. I know line number 1 A is true, and line number 2 has to be true, and line number 3 will print something, right? If I run this, it will always say print something. Doesn't matter how many times I run, because A is already true and A is equal to true then. But if I know somewhere in my loop, I will make A equal to false, then it makes sense. Then I want to go like this. But remember, right now I'm teaching you about post. In the post, my goal is to get inside once at least. What happens if A is false? Then line number 3 will never execute. So my goal is to make sure that line number 3 execute at least once. What do? I start with while true. That means this condition is always true, though line number 5 must execute. But problem is, if I leave like this, it is always true. That means you are creating an infinite loop. Now, line number 5, 6, 7, 8 will continue to execute without any break. So somehow, after I execute 5, 6, and 7, I want to get out of this loop. I can say if inside, if I create a condition and say if I is less than equal to n, then break. I just want to say something. So what did I do? I'm processing while loop, but this is post while, where I assume that condition is always true. I did not give expression here. Okay, Jay, you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the beginning, I'm not giving any condition. I'm simply saying while true. That means line number 5 will go inside. Line number 5 will execute. Line number 6 may execute, depends on value of I. Then line number 7. And then after at least one round, I'm checking and putting a condition inside this and saying, is I less than equal to n? And answer is, sorry, I should check other way around. If I is greater than n, answer is yes, then break. What does break do is it's like a jailbreak. You get out of this loop forever. You know? So let me show you one more thing about this scope. This line is scope to this if. If this is true, this condition is true, this condition, then line number 6 will execute. This whole block, this block, including this print statement we are processing number, is scope to this while condition, this whole thing. If while true or false, it will go out of this whole block and print line number 11, irrespective of it. Correct? That is how the if else also works. You have your own scope. Any statement, if you put it inside if or else, is scoped in that particular if or else, whatever, or elif, wherever you put it. Same thing with while. So what will happen is the difference between if I don't give break statement, and what will happen is will print if, check if, then I equal to I plus 1. Then it will go to line number 10 and print this. We are processing this number and go back and check the condition again, line number 4, and again repeat the task inside. But by giving the break condition, you are saying immediately jump out of the while loop. So as soon as you print this line, anything after break will not execute. It will directly go out of the while loop and it will print this number. Then the sum of the number is. That is the difference between a regular loop finishing and going and checking again, versus a break. As soon as you enter right line break, it exits. That's it. It's not going to execute anymore. The whole while loop terminates and you go to the line number 11. And this is what we call it post. In the post, you let it run once using true statement on the top, and inside you check a condition and accordingly you break or continue. If you want to continue, do nothing because it's a loop, it will continue anyway. But if you write a break statement, the word break, it will break immediately. And line number 9 executes, line number 10 will escape, loop terminates, you go to the line number 11. Make sense? Any question? So pause and think once. The difference between pre and post. Some cases, majority of the cases, you use definite loop, which I'm going to teach you in the next class. But in some cases, you use while also. And in some rare cases, you use like this, where you want to do something and then use a break statement. So you should know that there is a way, Python provides a way to exit the loop while you are going at the high level. You are saying, you know, if you want to deal some exceptions. I think that's one example. So suppose you are dealing with a number. Okay, I enter you a number and you process that number. I enter a number, you process the number. But if, and you are going to process 20. But somewhere in between, if I enter some character, that means, you know, stop processing. You want to use the break statement there. By default, you're going to process 1 to 20. But when you know, the number is, so let's, I'm thinking to give you an example. So suppose you want to process number from 1 to 100. And if number is sum, then you add it. But how about if the number is a palindrome? Like 11 is a palindrome. You read left to right or right to left. Or if the number is what we call it, natural number. There is a word, number that can only be divided by 1 or the number itself. What do you call that? Like 1, 9, 11, 1, 11, 13. 13 is a number that cannot be divided, right? There is a word for that in math. Prime number, right? So suppose I is a prime number, and I is a prime number, and you want to break. As soon as you find a prime number is like a virus, you get out of the loop. Then you use a break statement. So rather than using the condition on the top, you use somewhere inside the loop and get out of the loop if certain conditions happen. That is what I mean. Okay. What we'll do also is we'll run this code and we'll take an example and we'll do the trace table. That way you understand a little better. So I'm going to draw a trace table here, and we'll take these three values, I and then sum, so that you understand the structure very clearly. So this one is going to be I, this one is going to be A, this is going to be sum. Sorry, N. Here, this one is N. N. So I is 1. Sum is in the next line, and I is 1. N at this point is not defined. The next line, I is still 1. N is not defined. Sum is 0. In this line, here actually, in this line, I is still 1. And let's say we say 10. And then sum is still 0, right? So while true, that means this statement is, this is true. This whole thing, right? Now, is 1 modulus 2 equal to 0? Answer is yes, true. Because 1 divided by 2 is 1. I mean, 1 modulus 2. I mean, remainder is 1. If this is true, then sum equal to sum plus I. 0 plus 1 is 1, because I is right now 1. Right? I is 1. So sum becomes 0 plus 1 becomes 1 here. Then in the next line, I becomes I plus 1. So this becomes 2. This becomes 2. Saying, is I, which is 2, greater than N, and N is 10? Answer is false. Then you're not going to break it. You will not go inside this code, and then you will print, because I and if both are at a different level, right? At the same level, I mean. So this line will not execute right now, but it will print we are processing I, and it will say we are processing I is 2. So we are processing 2. As you realize, that's wrong, because we are not really processing 2. We are processing still 1. So I made a mistake. I should put this before here, and I maybe here. But I want to put this at the end, because you want to increase the value of I at the end of your processing before you go to the next iteration. So you are still processing 1, and then you make I to 2. The next time the condition is still true. Now 2 divided by 2 is 0, which is true. Sum will be 0 plus 2, because I'm not going to add 1. I'm only processing the even numbers. And like this, it will continue. When I becomes 10, then 10 greater than 10, answer is false. It will still continue, and we are processing this. Then you go next, process 11. It is true. 11 divided by 2 is odd number, so it is not going to add. And then say 11 greater than 10, answer is yes, it will break. When it breaks, line number 9 and 10 will skip, and it will go directly to print line number 11. This is what we call it as post loop. The post test. You're testing this and getting, of course, you need to get out of the loop somewhere. That's why you need a break statement. But the difference is, if I don't do this break, it will continue and wait for it to go back and test again and then get out of loop. Problem is, we are saying true. That means this is always true. So inside the code, we have to handle and get out of this loop. And that's where the break comes handy. So when you use break, most likely you are not using a condition on the top.